Did you hear the news that a Colorado insurance administrator insists she felt pressured by Democratic Senator Mark Udall's office to falsify Obamacare numbers? Well, if you didn't hear that news, Sean Hannity says he may know why. Sean tweets, Christie ensnared in a scandal dubbed Bridgegate, and the media, well, is having a field day. Anything to distract from Obamacare. Sean Hannity joins us. Nice to see you, Sean.
Hey, Greta, how are you? It's always great to be on with you.
It's always nice to see you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, and things are going well. Things are going well at 10, at 7. Things are all good. So let me ask you, though, about Chris Christie and your reference to the media having a field day.
Look, Chris Christie did something that I thought was really refreshing, and that is that he took responsibility. And I think I've been kind of hard on Chris Christie. As a conservative, I was not happy with the embrace of President Obama a week before the election. I'm not happy with the economic record. I don't like some of his appointments. And Chris Christie did something that was really refreshing, went out there, fired people, took responsibility. Nobody's been fired for Fast and Furious. Nobody's been fired with the NSA scandal or the targeting of conservatives with the IRS scandal or the rollout of Obamacare even, Greta. Nobody has been held accountable. And I also like the fact that he left no wiggle room. If there's an email that shows that he knew ahead of time or knew about this, he's probably finished, because he said he had no knowledge whatsoever. So I find it refreshing, especially in light of years of hearing that it's Bush's fault and Fox News' fault and Sean Hannity and Greta Van Sustren's fault and Talk Radio's fault. So I liked what happened here.
What about the fact, though, that he had someone who'd worked for him for 5 years in his inner circle? And I realize you can't be responsible for everybody who works for you, but this is someone who's really close. And he even had that incident in December where he sort of mocked the whole idea of this traffic jam being created. Yeah,
well, I think at the time that he mocked it, he did so not knowing any of the facts here. Look, I know a lot of people that have worked for you over the years. We've been colleagues and friends for a long time now, and I've had many people work for me over the years, and there are some people that turn out not to be the person that you thought they were. There are 65,000 people that work for the state of New Jersey. That's a lot of people to be accountable for. But the idea that he said, they still work for me, I didn't know about it, and I'm going to fix it right now, I thought was refreshing. I'd like to get answers. In Benghazi, we lost 4 brave Americans. Similarly, with Fast and Furious, we lost a brave border agent, and many people in Mexico died as well because we gave guns to criminals, kidnappers, murderers, and drug dealers. So nobody seemed to, in the media, to get all hyped up the way they did in this particular case, or the spying on Americans, or targeting conservatives using the IRS, which is a huge abuse of power. But I'll tell you one other thing, Greta. As you mentioned the Udall case out in Colorado, I think the reason we saw a poll this week where 42% of Americans now identify not with the Republican Party or the Democratic Party, but they identify themselves as independent, is there is a sense that we're being lied to. You like your plan, you keep your plan. It was a lie. You're not saving $2,500 a year. Now they're trying to fix the books out in Colorado. People are fed up. Those unemployment numbers you're reporting on your show tonight, those are phony numbers. We don't count the chronically unemployed. The accounting they do in Washington is totally dishonest. I know you as a lawyer, there would be people you'd have to defend, cuff, perp walk, and put in jail if they did the same accounting Washington does.
You mentioned the independents. That's sort of a bulging number. More and more people seem to be moving to that area. In the next election, what will the Republicans have to do to sort of, you got to nab some of those independents? I mean, are we going to see immigration reform? I mean, how are you going to grab those independents, the Republican Party?
Look, I think that's a great question for this reason, because it's something I've been telling Republicans to do for a long time. I love Greta Wire. I have my website, Hannity.com. I'm not really promoting it, but this week in particular, I started what I'm calling the Conservative Solution Caucus. I don't think the answer is left or right, but if we don't balance the budget, if we don't stop spending more money than we take in, we're literally robbing our kids and our grandkids of their future. So I have 4 solutions I laid out this week. I'm laying out a number more solutions next week, and we've got to balance the budget. I like the penny plan, a balanced budget amendment. I think the real answer to our economic problems is energy, and that means drilling and fracking and coal mining and gas production in this country. country. I believe in term limits, and I believe we have better answers to health care than Obamacare. I think the party that gives answers is going to be the party that deserves to win. I think we have chronically high unemployment that is unnecessary, debts that are unnecessary, and I think the party that offers the solutions is going to be the one that wins. And if it's the Democratic Party and they offer good solutions, I'd support them. If it's a Republican Party, I'll support them. If it's nobody, I'll oppose them all.
Who have your eye? Who should the American people sort of be watching? Not necessarily taking a side, you know, like for or against, but who do you think are sort of the candidates who are going to emerge in the Republican Party when we narrow it down to about, you know, 3 on each side? But who for the Republicans?
Are you talking about more 2016 or the
2016?
2016. Look, I think you're going to look at the governors for sure. I think you got guys like Bobby Jindal, Scott Walker, Wisconsin. I think that'd probably make you happy. You've got a lot of good governors out there. I think we've got 4 senators in particular that I'm paying close attention to: Ted Cruz, Rand Paul, Mike Lee. I don't think Mike Lee would ever run, and Marco Rubio. But I think between the governors and, you know, maybe Governor Nikki Haley. I mean, she's up for re-election this year, but Susana Martinez is another rock star. We've got a lot of good people that I look at as conservative. I'm not looking for a Republican. I'm looking for people that want to take bold stances and solve our problems, not people that want to play politics.
All right, I know that you're not a big fan of President Obama, so in 2016, what will be his biggest vulnerability that he leaves behind for the Democratic Party that the conservatives or Republicans will seize him on? What's his single most vulnerable point?
The obvious answer, I think, Greta, would be the debt. He will double the debt. He will accumulate more debt than every other president combined before him. And he said that $9 trillion in debt was irresponsible and unpatriotic. He's going to have to answer to that at some point. But I think his biggest legacy on the negative side is going to be his lack of understanding in the Middle East and literally helping Iran move forward with the nuclear weapon program, not understanding radical Islam in Egypt and the entire region, and not supporting our ally Israel. I think that will be the biggest mistake that he has made in his presidency.
How did the Republicans or the conservatives communicate that to most American people, those big issues like about the Middle East or about the debt, when they're really sort of more concerned with, like, am I going to keep my job, or am I going to be able to, you know, feed my kids or send them to school? I mean, those are big issues.
You know what bothers me, and this is a great question. It's almost like I can predict what the Republicans are going to do this year. They're going to try and coast on the idea that Obamacare is going to get them there. You know, if you look at the 2 most successful errors for the conservative movement in this country is when they had bold ideas and they were able to communicate those ideas with passion and vision to the American people. That's Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan limited government, lower taxes, limit the percentage of people's income that they can pay in taxes. He inspired people to the conservative agenda, and he was a nice guy. You know, that's the second big movement in the conservative movement was Newt Gingrich and a contract with America. You elect us, we'll do these 10 things. Brilliant, inspiring things that people can support. Look, America knows they've made up their mind on Barack Obama. More and more people, I think, have come around to my way of thinking. I think I was a little ahead of the curve in 2007. Some people were slow to get on board. But they've made up their mind on him. The question is, what are they going to offer that's different? And I think the party that says we're going to stop robbing from our kids, that we're not going to be energy dependent on the Middle East and other countries, especially when we have more combined resources than the entire Middle East. I think the people that come up with a plan for health care that will actually allow people to keep their doctor, get lower prices, that means free market capitalism and competition. That is the party. Those are the people that are going to lead people to support them. That's what I think. I'm kind of tired of the games going on there now.
Well, Sean, thank you very much. See you at 10 p.m. I watch every night. I even tweet right before it comes out to make sure others do.
You were awesome. I watch your show every night. You're killing it at 7 o'clock. You've been a very dear friend, and I appreciate it more than you know. Thank you so much, Greta.
Thank you, Sean. I'll be watching at 10. Thank you.